Hello everyone, it's Jama Malmi. Welcome to day 4 of my Kill a Kit series using the Wonderland Scrapbooking Kit from Close to My Heart. Today I'm working with this sketch from day 13 of Christy's Beautiful Life Sketch Challenge. This is from the Creative Scrappers, and this is kind of how I've got my base page laid out right now. I was going to have my photos directly on the purple, but I didn't like that, so then I gutted out the middle of that cut and I cut a white piece to go on that, just so that I have a hint of the purple sticking out. You guys, I cannot believe I don't have the footage for this layout. My camera turned off and I lost the whole process. So I'm going to try to walk you through everything that I did. Of course, it's not going to be the same, and I apologize for that. But if you do like this layout, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because I normally do have process videos and I would show you how I created this whole layout. But let's go ahead and explain what I did here. So first of all, this paper that's the purple here was from the kit. And this is what that centerpiece looks like. You did see that in the intro, so I didn't end up using this, but all of the outside corners that I had left over from cutting this on my Cricut, I used to cut my dies with. So I used that and used all of those pieces. Here are all of the dies that I have left over, and so let me explain what I did with these flowers real quick. First of all, they came from this Layered Flowers die set, which I absolutely love. They all layer up really beautifully. You can stack this on top of this and it'll fit perfectly. And you'll notice that I kind of offset them just a little bit so they weren't perfect on there. And I didn't necessarily layer, like this is the open layer here, and I didn't layer it on top of the solid one. I just really mixed and matched, and it gave it a lot of interest and texture and dimension. There's a lot going on here, but I think it's all balanced pretty well. I want to show you what I did with this leaf die. So this has 4 leaves on it, but when I tried that with these flowers, it just was a little bit too much. And so I cut off one of the leaves, this lower leaf here. I just trimmed it right off. You can rip it right off. It rips really easily. So these are all just 3 leaves, and then I had a leaf left over that I was able to stick in here. I stuck in the single leaves here and here, and then here and here. So that's how I got them kind of spread out, is I just took them and did them individually. So it's really easy to do that. I did have some of these cut, but as I added them, it just made it a little bit too heavy. There was a lot going on with the flowers, so I really wanted that light and airy look. So I ended up using just these skinnier, smaller leaves, and then I used the bigger ones in just a couple pieces with the silver foil. So I cut the flowers and leaves out of the swirl paper that's from the kit, the silver foil paper. I used ballerina cardstock, and then Close to My Heart's cardstock has a light side as well, so I used some of the light side and some of the dark side. The light side is what I used here, so you can see the dark side here. I love that I have that option. The dark side actually matched her shirt a little better, but because there was so much pink in these flowers, I really thought the lighter side worked best with this layout. So I alternated it. Here I added just a few little pops of the darker pink. There's a piece right here, and then these 2, and that helped to really tone down all the pink in the photos. So let me show you how I gave these flowers some dimension. So these ones were pretty easy. If they have normal petals, you can just curl them on your finger like this. I like to curl it on my thumb. Gives it a little bit of dimension. You can kind of, just play around with it and get the fibers in the paper kind of moving and bent so that it keeps that shape a little bit. And then these that have an open center are harder to do that. You can if you really try, but I found it easier just to go from side to side, and it still gets those fibers curved and helps give it some dimension, so you can see it's still curved there. And then I just put a little dot of glue, liquid glue, on these little inner parts before I glued it down onto my flower. So when I had all my flowers laid out, It sort of looked like a hot mess until I glued them all together how I wanted them and just had my 3 and then created my visual triangle with 2 more up here as well. So you may be wondering where this glittery paper came from. That is actually from a really old embellishment kit right here. This is Make Waves, and it had some die cuts in here on this pink glittery paper, but there was this strip here, much like this white strip here, that didn't have any die cuts in it. It was just glitter paper. So I cut that off and I cut all of my flower centers on that. So that didn't go to waste. I had a few other pieces set aside here that I thought I might use and ended up not using, but this color looks really pretty because it is the ballerina color, and I used another little banner up here that actually was one of the die cuts from the kit, and then this was one of the die cuts from the kit. All right, so let me show you some of that dimension before I move on. These flowers just look so pretty with all that dimension. Of course, they'll get flattened quite a bit in your layout or in your album. I didn't use any foam because I didn't want to add the bulk of foam in my layout, and just having all of these layers adds some nice dimension. It'll keep some of this dimension in your books, but it'll flatten a bit. But hey, it makes me happy right now. It looks really pretty. So let me explain how I did this right here. Much like my video last week, which if you haven't seen that, I have 3 other videos before this in this Cricut series featuring Wonderland, which is a snow-themed winter layout. You can see I use it in a completely different way, but I'll have all of those linked below and in a clickable link at the end of the video. So I just took my ballerina ink and I used my brush and I lightly added some ink behind there so that this white embellishment popped. And that is also from a really old embellishment kit too. This kit, Swan Lake, had a few acrylic embellishments, and now I've used those all up, so that feels good. These purple pieces behind here and this right here are pocket cards from the Every Little Thing collection. I've used most of these pocket cards, but it had the same wisteria color, so I just pulled some of the pocket cards that just had this wisteria color. This one had sort of a watercolor look and sort of a watercolory stripe look, and then the pretty little florals here. And instead of using this for journaling, I just put this die cut here because I needed a place for that to land. And I don't really have a whole lot of journaling to do here. I'm just going to add the date discreetly somewhere. So then the finishing touch was to add these little butterflies, which they're little puffy stickers that I had in my stash and pulled out, and just added a few little butterflies. I normally add you know, splatters and jewels and all that kind of stuff, but there's so much going on already with all of these flowers that I really didn't want to add anything else. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and even though you didn't get to see the process, I hope that it helped to kind of hear me explain how I put this together, and that it gives you some ideas for your own layouts.
Wait, before you go, I want to let you know some exciting news. The creative design team has a new membership group, and we're now accepting new members. You're going to love the technique-based classes that will give you tons of ideas and take your skills to the next level. Plus, each class includes a printable handout. One of the best parts is you'll get diverse styles of creativity from all 8 of us instructors. Registration is open only through March 31st, then it's closed until November, so don't delay. Check out creativedesignteam.square.site, also linked below, to learn all about the new membership.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you found some inspiration, even though this wasn't a full process video. I've linked the playlist for this Cricut series in case you missed any of the previous videos, and I've also added another video I think you might enjoy. Thanks for watching and have a great day.